when you are able to watch it, when you see that there is a desire in me and I have the possibility to play with it, to go with it, go into it, but also not go into it. And that gives you inwardly the right basis, because you are based on consciousness. You are not blindly holding to the desire and identifying and imagining that only when I can have this I can be happy. So it's not a blind entanglement. You are taking responsibility in a deeper way by seeing it. You're right. I forgot today is Sunday. Yes, we have English. So any questions in anyone who is participating from here or participating from elsewhere? If anything is coming as some unclarity and you feel to look into it more deeply and clear it, this is one of the possibilities.
I came across saying from Ramanamaharshi, where he says that desires keeps one in the wheel of birth and that also reincarnation.
The samsara, yeah.
Yeah, samsara. When I was reading it, I observed in myself there are wishes. Yeah. The thing is how to go about it. Of course I can see that these wishes are there. Is it a question of deciding, or I don't, or
yeah, it's a very, very significant area to consider. The thing is, this is what Buddha has been also bringing into consciousness, that desire is a root cause of sorrow. And what Ramanamaharshi is indicating in a different way is that one is through the desiring in the wheel of the samsara where there is birth and death. But we have to also understand it in a more careful and deeper way, because it is not a just either or kind of situation what we have to settle with. Once you understand that my suffering, my pain, my unhappiness, my disappointment is connected with some desire, and you let it come into a conscious level, then you have the chance. Then you realize that, okay, it is left to me to hold to this desire and continue with the suffering or pain or unhappiness or disappointment or whatever shadow state is arising. Or they say, okay, this is taking me more in that direction, so I can let go. I don't hold to it. This is a step connected with consciousness. It is not that you're trying to be against desire as a general thing. When you look in life more deeply, you can also realize desire is the creator, desire is also the destroyer. The whole world has come to manifest because some source, some ungraspable basis has desired it so, has been wanting to manifest in that way. So we have to understand it. It is not just that we have to be fighting against desire, but you have to realize what happens when we are clinging to desire. When we are unconsciously holding to the desire and not letting it become transparent to ourselves, what is it doing to us? Then you can see from moment to moment it is a different situation. But as a basic understanding, it is very, very significant to see this. And the more clearly you see it, the more free you become, because you see that you are not left here as a helpless victim. It is left to you to decide whether to go into the game where there is pain, there is suffering, or in situation to situation decide, okay, here I let go, I don't hold to it. So you gain a distance to the whole process of desiring when you are able to watch it. When you see that there is a desire in me and I have the possibility to play with it, to go with it, go into it, but also not go into it. And that gives you inwardly the right basis, because you are based on consciousness. You are not blindly holding to the desire and identifying and imagining that only when I can have this I can be happy. So it's not a blind entanglement. You are taking responsibility in a deeper way by seeing it. So once this becomes clear to you, you realize I have a responsibility. I am free. I can go with it or not go with it. So this gives you a different basis. This brings more a quality of lightness and playfulness in being in the game of the world. And that means you are taking responsibility to stay awake where your energy is going and what is your part in it. When you notice that your energy is going into anger, into bitterness, into disappointment, into fighting, into all kind of shadow states, and you look from where it is coming, what is undercurrently there, and you let it become transparent to yourself that there is some desire, there is some longing, there is some wish, there is some expectation. And as it becomes transparent to you, you are not choosing one against the other. You are seeing what is now sensible, what is significant, that what is intelligent, that what is human, that what is loving, that what is healthy. So it is a flowing with life. That is why I use the expression life surfing. Life surfing is not being blindly with the desire or being against desire. It is accepting life with all its spectrum and yet seeing what is doing this whole movement, what is behind the whole processes when you sow the seed of something, what fruits it will bring. And the more it becomes transparent to you that you are sowing the seeds and you can decide. You don't need to go into it, you don't need to indulge in it. So this is why I ask everybody to be deeply honest with yourself, deeply plain with yourself, ready to look at everything, because then only you can see the subtle factors of the desire. Otherwise, you just go on looking outside and then some things don't work, or somebody is reacting in one way, or something is provoked in you, and you get upset, you get angry, you feel helpless, you feel desperate. And those who have listened carefully, they have the clue. Look at everything without identifying with it. Take responsibility in this sense. And that's why I said take 100% responsibility. That means don't look for any explanations to find who is right, who is wrong, and who is to be blamed and all that. Look what is really going on in you. And once you are clear inside, once you have the distance to the process of the desire, and you see that it is for you to decide whether you let the life energy flow into it or disentangle yourself from that and prevent the life energy from getting entangled in it. So this is where you see you have the freedom when you are going consciously in life, and that you are not thrown into a helpless situation where you have to only suffer. No. You are in a situation where you see what is possible, what is not possible, what leads in which direction. And the more clearly you see, the more playful everything becomes, because you see that it is your blind identification with the desire and clinging to it which is preventing you in really understanding anybody else, which is preventing you from being compassionate, which is preventing you from being loving in an honest way. So see this way nature is working in us and recognize your responsibility. And that makes you clear, that makes you free. And of course, through that naturally a certain openness of understanding happens. One sees what a wonder this life process is. And there is more amazement, gratitude. So I just mentioned some of these aspects. Let it become your own experience. That is why it is good that you have started observing it and you are bringing it up into questioning. And it's a very important area, because this is the very basic step of turning point. See, in the case of Jesus, there was this situation where he was in a very painful situation, being crucified. And in one moment he was also like every other human being, asking the Father, God, the unknown, our way it is put, have you forsaken me? Have you forgotten me? It's very human, it's very natural. It's how when we are in situations where there is so much pain, so much suffering, we come to feel, come to react. But the next moment he realized that I am clinging to my judgment, I am clinging to my knowledge, I am clinging to the so-called life which I am familiar with. Seeing that, seeing the trap, what was happening, his prayer changed. His prayer became, Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done, not my will. So the clinging to the desire is also a way of clinging to the will. I will. I want to have this. I don't want that. I don't like this. I like that. So it's in the normal way of going in almost an unconscious process. So be courageously plain about it all to yourself. And let it become transparent what way nature is working in you. And all the other things will come into the right balancing. Then you see that it is a certain way of balancing what is in life. It is not being against desire, but when your desires are connected to the way of life and in tune with life, then you see that it is not the ego wanting to prove something, it is in tune with what life wants, what reality is. That is why I have been often referring to the valuable prayer of Saint Francis, where he says, prays to the Creator, and he says, Let me be an instrument for thy love. This was his prayer. And see the beauty of this prayer, because he was not saying that I want to be the one who is loving and I want to show that I can be loving. No, he saw the point in a very deep way. And through that, he saw that it is just being open to allow, to let life decide. So in being an instrument means being not trapped in the knowledge, being open to allow what is loving. And often what is loving is not how it appears in our normal judgment. That is why this prayer is very, very significant. It is going beyond the ego, going beyond the entanglement in the dualistic process. With the ego, with the clinging to the desire, we are trapped in the duality. But when we are seeing that, getting more rooted in the consciousness, then we are entering the dimension of the non-dual. There is not a chooser, there is not the one who wills this, but there is an openness to answer, openness to respond. This is very, very beautiful, very, very valuable. And this is how we participate in life, in the creative process of life, in allowing love, in allowing understanding, allowing beauty, allowing grace.
A lot more questions to be answered right after this.
You are listening to the Life Surfing Podcast on Spotify.
Did you already know that besides the life surfing seminars, workshops, and talks, you can also book individual sessions with Bhashkar directly in person or over Zoom? For that, please contact Noria under the email address or over the phone 0497617 09665. In case you want to write an email, you find the email address in the podcast description.
Any other question or anything else in anyone? Participating from here or participating from elsewhere? When no questions are there, when nothing else is there in anyone, we sit the next 30 minutes being wakeful and present to all what is. Like a mirror which is reflecting everything which is coming in front of it. Not interfering, not trying to hold, not trying to get rid. With such a inner remembrance, such an inner quality of wakefulness, whatever is going on, obviously and undercurrently, without identifying with it, let it arise, let it pass by. With closed eyes we sit this 30 minutes like that.
The Life Surfing Podcast will be back next week. In the meantime, make sure that you're following us right here on Spotify.